Well, as I mentioned at the outset of Mass, the church concluded the past church year, the liturgical year, celebrating last Sunday the feast of Christ the King. And now we begin a new year. Although by the civil calendar we observe that on January 1st, and people are accustomed to making New Year's resolutions. Although typically when those resolutions are made, there's you might say, of a secular or personal nature. Well, this is the church's new year. The season of Advent, properly, the preparatory time to help us celebrate, well, the beginning of the work of salvation that God unfolded for us by the sending of His Son. So it makes sense, doesn't it, that the beginning of the liturgical year should focus on the preparation for our Savior's first coming. And then, of course, as we progress through the year, the liturgical year, the various celebrations, liturgical celebrations commemorating those events, the teachings of our Lord, and the salvific work that is accomplished on the cross by His glorious death and resurrection. So now, of course, as I say, it's proper for us to enter into this Advent season with a certain heightened expectation of vigilance, a watchfulness, which the Scriptures, of course, draw our attention to. Indeed, we find here on this first Sunday of Advent the simple signs and symbols which indicate a new time, a new season. So you look into the sanctuary, and you see on the high altar, we always have 6 candles burning there, and you'll notice that the purple globes now are there, so indicating this season of Advent. And on the 6 candles on the altar of sacrifice, you'll notice, if you remember last Sunday, they were getting pretty short, burned down, and so the new year, new season, fresh new candles, indicating to a new season. Of course, the deacon and I vested with the purple vestments, the chalice with the purple chalice veil, as well, indicating the character of this holy season of Advent. Although Advent doesn't have the same character as Lent, the preparatory season for Easter, nevertheless, it does share with it a certain penitential character which the purple or the violet expresses. Why, even see it in a simple way. We look up on the hymn board, we see in the top left the number 6. Last week it was, 687 or something like that, where the readings were for Christ the King. And now we hold that ribbon, we go all the way to the front of the book again. So that even our Lumen Christi Missal in a certain way expresses that we are beginning a new liturgical year. And then, of course, that which is most familiar to us as Catholics, and I think many other Christians too observe the practice of the Advent wreath. And the 4 candles, the first one being now lit, of course, the 4 candles marking the time, the weeks of the Advent season. You know, in the secular world, time is all sorts of runs together. And that is why increasingly there's really no distinction in the secular world from one day to the other. People work all different days of the week, we shop all different days of the week. There's no distinction in the secular world really about Lord's Day Sunday. Although we still have some observance of it, people kind of expect to have Sundays off. They don't know why, but they want Sunday off. Well, we know why we want Sunday off. We observe this. Time has been sanctified by the Incarnation. It's the Lord's Incarnation and birth, of course, is the purpose of this preparatory season of Advent. Time has been sanctified. The hours of the day through prayer, and the days of the week, Sunday being the day of the resurrection of the Lord, and so it marks that first day of the week for us, and we keep it as holy. And certainly, of course, understanding these visible signs which make up the character of Advent in some of the external ways, We're mindful that our participation in the Advent season is both a corporate thing, the whole of the church body, if you will, the whole body of the faithful, as well as an individual endeavor. So that individually and corporately, we embrace this holy season of Advent. As St. Paul says in that second reading, he speaks to us, he says, finally, brothers and sisters, we earnestly ask and exhort you in the Lord Jesus, that as you receive from us how you should conduct yourselves to please God, and as you are indeed conducting yourselves, you do so even more now, even more. And so that which, of course, the Christian is to embrace at all times, we have an increased awareness of it, a more conscious embracing of it, a more fervent living out of it during this Advent season, to awaken us from our laziness, you might say. And I know me, I know myself, you should know yourself, we're pretty lazy, aren't we? Am I the only one? I can't believe it. I think it's a kind of universal thing that we desire sort of ease and comfort and to be roused into something extra demands a certain response from us. I'd like to suggest a few ways that we can do that during the Advent season. Certainly first and foremost is a life of prayer. Now, of course, here's one area that if there's one thing I hear more often than anything else from people in and outside the confessional is usually, Father, I just don't pray like I should. I don't pray as much, and I'm distracted, and I find it difficult. Well, join the club. Prayer is not easy. It's because of our weakened human nature by sin, original sin, our own personal sins. And then there are, really, you might say, the natural obstacles which come across as well to make it difficult for us to pray. I know this is, for instance, something I've observed as a priest for 31 years now. In regards to the attitude of the faithful at Mass and their prayerful attitude, you might say how the people are engaged in the prayer of the Mass. And it's almost always the case that those who attend Saturday evening Mass are less kind of engaged and active in the Mass. Now, I'm not trying to pick on people. I'm just simply observing something which is kind of evident. And I think I have an understanding why that is. Now, people who, when you attend a Saturday evening Mass, it's entirely legitimate to do so, of course. When you attend a Saturday evening Mass, a visual Mass, what's been going on the rest of the day? Well, you have the whole morning routine with the family and shopping and doing laundry and doing this, and the day is filled with many different things. And all of a sudden, we gotta get going to Mass, we're gonna be late. And so you quickly get together and after Mass you go. And so all the day long, preceding that has been filled with all sorts of ordinary things. And it's necessary to be recollected for us to pray. Now, there are certainly analogies in the secular world about this. Ask any coach. When the coach has got his the high school team together, football, basketball, whatever it is, soccer, volleyball, coaches are always telling the player, get your head in the game. Get your head in the game. You're on the bus or going off to the game, and guys are talking about this and that, and the coach says, listen, start getting your mind on the game. Because if you're not attentive to that, you will not excel at it. If you're distracted about what is at hand, you will not be engaged. And so it demands a certain preparation. Now, typically for Sunday morning Mass goers, my guess is that for many of you, if not most of you, from the time you awakened this morning, you were already, as it were, preparing to come to Mass. And so your mind and your heart was already engaged in some of those things. Now, not perfectly. I mean, we're weak people and we kind of do it halfway. And our prayer sometimes is kind of halfway. It's not so good. It's imperfect. And sometimes people will say, I don't pray very well, so I just stop praying. Well, the Pope G.K. Chesterton, anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly. So what if you're not good at prayer? Pray anyway. Persevere. And And be mindful of those certain things which distract you then. And in a sense, you have to prepare yourself to pray. Prepare yourself to pray. That's why I suggest that within your own homes, you have a part of some room, which is kind of a special corner for your prayer, or even a whole of a room, perhaps, if you're able to do so, that's devoted to that. So that's an assistance to you. When you go there, you sit there, there's a crucifix there, there's a candle there, you have your Bible, your prayer books, that everything, as it were, naturally supports you to be able to pray. Well, that's one thing that for the Advent season and also for Lent, I always try to provide the faithful with different prayer books too, which I think would be of assistance. You'll find them on the side table here by the baptismal font and also in the seminary room. Now I got as many as we got last year because we just didn't quite use them all up. But it seems that people are picking them up quite a bit in prior to masses. So if we run out, well then I don't know what to say. We'll try to get some more. But you'll find some here, you'll find some in seminary. Take what we have. And then after Mass, of course, we have that coffee and donuts and is it the St. Gianna Circle that's hosting tomorrow, this morning after Mass? And we have some other things there too, especially for families. Beautiful resources. So come down after Mass too. Those things are all meant to be an assistance to us, to a life of prayer. Now, the second way of embracing this Advent season, I would suggest, is really take the cue from the Lenten seasons. The Advent and Lent are both penitential seasons. Now, not in the same way, and indeed not perhaps to the same degree, but Advent too has its own penitential character. And there should be a certain, if you will, a sobriety, a certain discipline about our lives, which assists us spiritually as well as, I say, bodily, prepare well to celebrate well and feast when we arrive at the commemoration of the Nativity of our Lord at Christmas. So Fridays really should be a deepened sense of prayer and of fasting. And we're not obliged to fast abstain from meat as long as we observe some other sort of penance. But I humbly suggest that that's what we should do. Abstain from meat on Friday is a very definable thing. It's a very simple thing to do, really, because you know what meat is, and you don't eat it. Pretty simple. And it's a discipline, and it's a little bit of a sacrifice. And you eliminate some extras, you might say, in snacks. And then also you might fast during this whole of this Advent season from Christmas music, I might say. On the radio it's all over the place, in stores and such. But don't play it at home and avoid it. Now I say so not because I don't like Christmas music. I love Christmas music. But you notice when we process into Mass, we sang not a Christmas hymn, but an Advent carol. O come, Emmanuel. That both the words and actually true as well, the character of the music has an Advent character, a watchfulness, anticipatory mood, if you will, even in the music. And so it's a good thing to discipline yourself to fast from the Christmas music, so that you can embrace the Advent season and then as well more fully celebrate the Christmas feast. And then thirdly, the sacramental life, including, of course, the participation at Holy Mass and also, of course, properly the sacrament of penance, and making a good confession. Now, of course, it should go without saying, but by golly, I think I have to say it. We are obliged, as Catholics, to keep the Lord's Day holy by attending and participating in Sunday Mass. Now, you all know that? Do your family members know that? That we are obliged, under penalty of sin, to attend Mass and participate. Now, I don't say that to be a crank, and I certainly don't say it just to kind of lay it out there as some sort of unreasonable obligation, just arbitrarily placed upon you, one more rule that we Catholics have. But indeed, it is rooted upon the very lesson which our Lord instructed us. Both, indeed, at the Last Supper when he told his apostles, do this in memory of me. He didn't say if you want. He said, "Do this in memory of me." And the early church celebrated this Holy Eucharist right from the beginning on the day of the resurrection, the Lord's Day, that is Sunday. And so this obligation for us is not an unreasonable one. It comes from the Lord himself, truly, and is intended to be of our spiritual benefit. And we should not lightly absent ourselves from the Sunday Eucharist. Now, I know when you tell your family and friends who are kind of hit and miss about this, you know it's under penalty of sin that you miss Sunday Mass. That kind of goes over like a, passing cloud. You need to be able to express why it is. And this is not something arbitrarily imposed by the church, but comes from our Lord himself. And indeed, the church, in order to express and uphold that dignity of that which the Lord himself has handed on to us, honors not only the Lord's Day, but also other celebrations, like Christmas, doesn't always fall on Sunday. And then, of course, this coming feast on Saturday, December 8th, the feast, Solemnity of the Immaculate Conception, a holy day of obligation. We offer Mass here on Friday evening at 5:15 p.m. and Saturday morning, Holy Day itself, at 8 a.m. Either Mass, of course, fulfills your obligation. And indeed, I think that for those who are able to and who are not accustomed to us already, see if you cannot each week during Advent attend Mass some other time during the week, some weekday, so that the season might be punctuated with a greater fervor, and that your week might be punctuated as well. Sometime in the middle of the week, of course, on Sunday, the Lord's Day, by your participation at Mass, as an added opportunity for the grace of the Lord, both in being instructed by the very Mass itself, in the readings, and by being nourished by the Holy Eucharist.